for joining us on Small Talk. Today we are talking about long distance relationships. We have two guests here who've been doing long distance relationship. I would identify them as experts in this area. We've got Millie, who's been doing long distance for 4 years, and we've got Chris, who's been in long distance for
3+ years.
So we started Small Talk for rather selfish reasons. We're just two friends who are constantly curious about this beautiful, crazy thing called life and how people navigate through it as we do ours.
We wanted to ask questions and learn everything from how people find true love online to dealing with cancer, and thought, why not share our learnings with everyone who's interested to learn and grow along the way. So this is us, creating conversations beyond small talk.
Interesting to hear different sort of stories from each of you on long distance.
Yeah. Guys, so you're dating, you're married, and I'm kind of like in between you guys.
That's
I
right.
just got engaged about 6 months ago, and yes, we are in a long distance relationship as well, and it's been like that since day one. It's been 7 years plus that we've been long distance, and it's been interesting. I don't know about you guys, but like when people first found out that you were doing long distance, was everyone around you okay? Like your family and friends, like were they okay with it?
Yeah.
Were you okay?
Actually, most importantly, were you okay? Was it a choice or was it circumstances?
Right.
For us, it was circumstances, really. For the first year of our relationship, we didn't even acknowledge that we were in a relationship. And I didn't tell my mom until almost a year we were into it, because we had never been in a long distance relationship before. We had our own beliefs that it didn't work, it wasn't for us. But we saw each other, I think, only 3 times in that year.
A year? Wow.
Yeah, in that first year. And we kind of just had to really reevaluate our own thoughts on what an LDR is, and we said we like each other too much, we care about each other too much to care about the distance as well. Yeah. So it took a while for even like ourselves to get used to the idea and even accept it, and even longer for us to kind of come to our families and friends and be like, we're actually in a long distance relationship.
Yeah, I mean, no one actually says like, I want to be in a long distance relationship, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
I remember previously, before this, I would say, so it's like, oh no, I wouldn't do
never.
long distance relationship.
And then bam.
Yeah, and then suddenly I'm in one, So I remember, because like when we got together, she was kind of planning already.
Also,
like,
was already in the works.
yeah, she might want to go studies overseas. Cause
So that she just dropped the bomb suddenly.
yeah. So it was kind of like there was space to kind of sink in lah.
So, like, what were your considerations?
Right. I guess to kind of find ways to make it work. Right. So I actually did up like even like a spreadsheet on time difference.
Wow.
It's like, okay, if this is when I'm awake and I'm at work, and then what would she be doing at that time, Yeah, so then, okay, when can we call? Because this is all like new, right? It's like we're just going through it. We don't
And
know
you
what
guys
to
have been doing
expect.
this for the whole time of your relationship?
Kind of, but of course now it comes more naturally. We don't have to like refer to the schedule.
Wow, but this shows commitment and how much the both of you are like going all in for this to make it
But
work.
I think both parties need to want to work on this schedule and this spreadsheet, right?
Yeah.
So, what are some of the creative rituals that you guys practice in your relationship to sort of keep things alive? You wanna go first?
So my husband and I, we throughout our relationship, we've experimented with kind of how to keep each other involved in events that we would normally have each other there. So when I go to parties, I call him and I show him around the room. When I'm working out, I take videos, I take pictures everywhere. So it's really any way that you can kind of bring them into your life. And obviously we're very visual creatures, right? So you take photos, you take videos, you send audio notes. So you're really utilizing. I think we're like experts at Messenger, texting.
Thank God for WhatsApp.
Yeah, we know every single function that those apps have.
Like you mentioned movies, right? So
Yeah,
you actually watch movies together, and then you like press play at the same time.
3, 2, 1.
And when there's a little lag, you're like, no, wait, let's go back.
Yeah. Off your audio.
Yeah.
Right? I can hear it.
Wow. How about for you, Chris? Like, what do you guys
Yeah, movies is one.
Okay.
So yeah, and then we also we tried cooking together.
Wow.
Oh,
okay.
I've done that
yeah,
too.
you done that too.
You have to like find a place to like prop your camera so that she can also see.
So you cook one rice and she cooks one rice, then you share dishes, is it?
We try to make the same dish lah. But of course she's a better cook than me. So we made dumplings before.
Wow,
Yeah,
dumplings.
dumplings. I know, quite ambitious. And we tried making pasta like from scratch together.
Oh my. So really trying to like make the relationship as normal as possible when you're in long distance. Just because you see that person all the time. You
So
know?
like, how long is the longest that you've been apart from
my fiance. Well, I got a better end of long distance. So the longest that I don't see him is 2.5, 3 months.
That's pretty
Oh,
that's pretty
yeah.
right?
Yeah, because she's dating a pilot, so that helps, you know.
Well, yeah,
it's
it's
more
that
cost
too.
effective, and you know, it's
Yeah.
not, otherwise it's gonna cost you a bomb. How about for you? What's the longest you guys have?
The longest we went is 7 months.
Wow, that's long.
That's really
My longest was 9 months. And my girlfriend was telling me like, hey, I can have a baby and you don't even know, right? 9 months.
That's so true.
That's crazy.
Wow.
And that was because of circumstances, lah.
How was it like when you guys finally meet your partner again after so long?
The transition is there like
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
a transition.
So I think the first time when she left, right? And then we didn't see each other for like 6 months.
Wow.
Right? And then when we actually met each other, it was a bit weird actually. It's like
I can imagine it, right?
yeah, because she was like she was in a screen all this while, like two-dimensional, and then she's like 3-dimensional,
And then for
and then you know when voice goes through like audio equipment, it's different, right?
Yeah, that's so true.
And then live she sounded different. I'm like, you seem different, you know?
did you share this with her, or is this all your mental chatter?
Like I shared like, hey, you sound different.
Every time we see each other, it's almost scary. Like it's very nerve-wracking because you have this relationship online, and it's very it works for online. You know.
Yeah.
And then when he comes over, I kind of forget that I was alone this whole time, and then suddenly there's someone in bed. Right? You wake up and you're like,
And your rituals are sort of like interrupted in a way.
yeah.
Sort of. Because I mean, let's say for 7 months.
Imagine that. I mean, like even for me, when we don't see each other for let's just say even a month, and then we see each other again, it's like, oh, okay, it's different. It feels different, you know, and even just simple things like crossing the street. Now you're like, oh yeah, you're actually here, and I hold your hand, you know. It's like just small things like that that just kind of makes you remember like, oh, this person is actually with me right now, and I need to remember that.
But at least for me, like you know how when you're together, then you hang out with other people. But Elda is always just you two.
Yeah.
And then when you're actually
That's a good
together,
point.
like you actually have to interact with people with her or with your
You're
partner
right.
as well.
Yeah, because like no one ever does like LDR group.
Yeah. Oh, idea.
I never thought of that actually.
Yeah.
And now you're incorporating them into their lives as well, right?
Yeah.
Okay, like personally, I'm not in a long distance relationship, and I
You
don't
never.
think too much about long distance relationship. What would you tell couples who are looking into long distance relationships? Some of the things that you have to consider, or like some values to instill in to make a long distance relationship work.
Right. I guess effort is one. Like you have to put in the effort lah, right? Because it's definitely not easy.
Yeah, even like on ground, like relationship is super not easy.
So this is like extra effort.
Yeah. So like to carve out the time to actually because like time difference is a big
Yeah,
thing.
man.
Right. So I actually sometimes like right before lunchtime at work, I'll actually go down to my car and then like call her.
Every day?
Not every day, but maybe, yeah, sometimes, you know, depending on my work schedule as well lah. So if there's like a normal work schedule, then like 10 minutes before lunch, I can go down to the car and then I tell my colleagues that I will see you at the lobby and I call her.
Just
so,
10 minutes, right?
Yeah, just 10 minutes,
Yeah.
you know, it's good enough to just like, okay, like at least we talk to each other today.
Yeah.
So I think that effort is, I think, the main one.
Right.
So if you're not willing to put in effort, then it's going to be tough lah. It's
Yeah,
going to be
man.
tougher.
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Xanne?
Okay, are we 100% committed to this? If we are, then like let's redefine what a relationship is to us. Yeah, we can't go for movies, we can't go for dinners and all this kind of stuff, but how would that look like for us and still make this as normal as possible? So I would say it's really the courage and the awareness to break out of what people have been telling you a relationship should be like, and you
Create it
define,
yourself, right?
you recreate what it should be like for the both of you, because again, every relationship is so different.
Alright.
So I'm just very curious, how does the distance affect intimacy? I mean, it can be intimacy, emotional intimacy, or physical intimacy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think for us is, well, we have this thing that we do every Sunday. It's called Special Sunday.
Oh wow, the names some more!
It just because it sounds more fun.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
But my fiance and I, we do this and since day one that we've dated, and it's that just every Sunday we're supposed to just say one thing that we appreciate about each other.
Ah,
You know,
right.
honestly, it's not so much the content. I mean, yes, the content. I'm such a words person. Like, so hearing it is very like, oh, I feel so loved. But it's really about the habit that we are creating of just having that once a week moment to be that intimate with each other. I mean, we don't have each other physically, so what else can we do to really, you know, establish intimacy between us? And sometimes it could just be even a voice recorded message like, no, I really appreciate you doing this for me last week, or you saying
Gratitude and
that.
appreciation.
Exactly.
Yeah, but like talking about how you are a words person, right?
Yeah.
Like I think it, like, you know, you guys heard about like, the love language.
The fact that
Yeah.
it's
The
so
love language.
important.
Yeah. And I think it being in an LDR will evolve you, because like, say for example, if you're a very physical touch person, right?
Oh, yes.
And then, but you cannot have.
Yeah.
Touch is
Or even if you are not a physical touch person, suddenly your need for physical touch like
heightens.
heightens.
Because you don't have it, right?
Because you don't have it.
Wow.
So I think that's interesting on like trying to cover different love languages where you can. Yeah.
I actually think that there isn't any lack of intimacy in terms of emotional. We've gotten so good at just being open and honest with each other. Obviously, the lack of physical intimacy is let's not even talk about that, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, like being in long distance forces you to talk more. That's the only thing you can do, right?
Exactly.
And you just reach a level, like I don't know if you guys have it, like you just reach a level where there's like no filter anymore. You know, you can say whatever you want, and you know the other person on that side of the screen will hear you.
You guys sort of like sideline physical intimacy, but I'm sure a lot of the audiences will be very curious if you guys, if you guys are open to share, what are some things that you do to keep things alive physically? Yeah, maybe you're nodding your head. I'm curious.
Yeah, it's been.
Let's talk about it.
So I don't usually talk about this, but I will.
This is
for
the
you.
time to talk about it.
It took us a little while, but yeah, eventually we do. You start sending like very saucy pictures to each other, and it's another barrier you have to break down.
Right,
It's
yeah,
like
sure,
it's
yeah.
really weird to like have your camera like looking at you, and you're just like. It's really, really weird.
Do you feel like sex? You just have to do it, right?
Yeah, but like it's been like I don't know how long we've been doing it now, but it becomes very naturally to us now. You know, like we're very comfortable with looking at each other's bodies now. We send pictures, we send videos. Like yes, we do have sex, so it's become a very normal part of our routine. You know, it's like my husband likes to call it maintenance sex.
Yeah.
What a word.
You know what does that mean?
To maintain the
To
relationship.
maintain the physical like any normal relationship would have like, you know, a week you go like, okay, at least like once a week, once every 2 weeks or something, you kind of have sex, right? And then you have your romantic getaway, which is when you actually see each other. Yeah. So,
is it like hi? I think it's time for maintenance.
Sometimes you
2 months, man.
have to say that. It's like, oh, my schedule's been so busy. I'm like, it's Sunday. And you haven't done anything. So yeah, it is like it goes back to Chris. You have to ask for what you want, right? You know. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you guys go through fights as well, and you can't fight face to face. So what are the kind of things that you guys practice to resolve conflict?
Well, I really appreciate my fiancé because he's very like, if there's a problem, and Michelle knows him very well. If there's a problem, he needs to solve it immediately. And I'm
that's
more of
good.
like, because he's like, he's more like a rhino. Like when he's aggravated, like he just needs to charge and like solve it immediately. Whereas I'm more like a porcupine. I'm like, let me just deal with this emotions. Let me just understand what this actually means for me first, and everyone just stay up first. So in regards to disagreement, this difference is something that we needed to work on. But I really appreciate him for always encouraging me, sometimes forcing me to like talk about it on the spot and to solve it on the spot. And you know, I've heard from this couple before, and they've been married for like 50 years. And this uncle told me that one thing you should know is that never go to bed angry. Yeah, never go to bed angry, and this is something that I've come to learn. It's a bit harder for me because sometimes I just want to like, you know, just internalize everything. But I think the key to that is like what we talked about before, that communication is so important, right? So a conflict is an opportunity to be clear of our expectations.
So I mean, like in any relationship, you sort of need growth, right? With LDR, how do you ensure that you have growth in the relationship?
We grow ourselves as individuals, really, because we spend so much time apart, right? And for us, our weekly check-ins are more like teaching each other what we've learned through the week. You know, I'm like being in a personal development company as well. I go through all of these courses, and we're able to really build like what we learn and kind of the new skills that we have together. So it's for me, growth is individual. Like you go and do what you like, and then you come together and you share.
Grow as
So it's like I don't really like the idea of people kind of forcing people to come together. Like we have to go to this workshop together and learn together. It's very pick and mix. Like I get to do what I want. If you're interested, I can show you. You know? So,
And I guess that's one of the perks of, not say perks, like one of the good side of LDR. Right? Like you get your space. And then you know you can learn what you want to learn, and then just share lah.
Yeah, that's true. It's like sort of like a hunter-gatherer mentality where okay, let's all just go to the different locations. Like you're gonna get fruits, I'm gonna get vegetables, and you're gonna get meat, and then we're gonna come together at night and just bring everything together. You know, like if you guys have a choice, would you change anything about your relationship? Would you still do LDR? Reframing every part of the sucky part of long distance and seeing it in a different light, I mean, has really helped me. So I wouldn't change a thing. Like I would definitely do this.
And I guess the flip would be, not say a fear, but a thought lah, right? Like when we do actually get together again in the same space, how would that be?
It will be very different, right? And then that's another learning curve for you guys to overcome, right?
Which is so exciting though. So it's like so much more like you're stretching out the getting to know each other.
Fear or like just curious on how it will be. So like you know how we went into the LDR strategizing. Like I think that would have to take place as well. Like okay, how do we strategize this? I mean it's like curious because you guys took the LDR to the next level already. You guys are engaged, you're married, you know, how do you guys get there? Because that takes a lot of courage.
Really, you want to go first?
Honestly, it's like any other relationship. Really, like you have a plan for what you want to go towards. You know, for us, the only added thing we have to do is the distance, right? But the plan is still the same. Like we still want to live together. We still want to like start a family and have a life as a married couple. So
Right.
it's honestly not that different, to be really honest.
Logistics, you know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. It's the same for me.
Yeah.
It's just we have a vision of staying together, living together, building a home together, starting a family, and marriage is just part of that, you know. So it is like a normal relationship where it's a transition.
What's your plan? So like right after the wedding?
So
Yes, she's leaving.
Oh, are you?
I will be leaving. I mean, this is also like a process that we would have to arrive at, right? Because it's where do you want to go? It's like which
Yeah.
partner is going to like kind of sacrifice
Yeah,
where they are
yeah.
and go to where the other partner is, right?
Yeah.
And we really thought about this very logically. Like in terms of my job and his job, if we were only to survive on one person's pay, who has more benefits, you know, in that sense, right? So it's a very logical decision.
Yeah.
And in that sense, I'm like, yeah, of course I'll go where you are. I mean, like, because, you know, wherever he is, and there's also like coverage for the entire family up to, I think, 4 children, if I'm not mistaken. So
Benefits
it's,
as well.
the benefits are a lot better where he is. And maybe next time, wherever I am or wherever I'm working, whichever company that I'm working at has better benefits, then maybe he would move to where I am. But it was a very logical decision for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
And I guess you know it when the time is right.
Yeah.
Time to pop the question and
Financial proposal.
yeah. I think long distance relationship is so much more common these days. Like because people get to travel so much easier. Like traveling is so much easier for everyone now, and opportunities are everywhere. That's why it's so much more common that people like one partner gets to work somewhere abroad and another partner is based back in the home country. So I think long distance relationship is not something of a, you know, like a big mystery or even a taboo.
I guess it's easier.
Yeah, it's more common these days.
Like there's so many apps you can do video calls. Like sometimes it's like, hey, which app you wanna call, right?
Yeah,
you want
technology has really
Facebook
helped.
call, WhatsApp call, you know.
Yeah.
And then you got like online shopping as well, so you can just like send them stuff at the anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching this episode of Small Talk. I hope that we have managed to cover quite extensively about long distance relationship. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Millie. Thank you for joining us today.